This is one of sport's great proving grounds, a gateway to glory where heroes are made. 26 tournaments across 16 countries on 3 continents. It's an 8-month campaign to determine the very brightest prospects in golf. Finish the season in the top 20 on the Road to Mallorca rankings and you'll secure a golden ticket to join Europe's best. That is the dream shared by all who compete on the Challenge Tour.
17 events already in the books, and what a season 2021 has been so far. There's been drama and intrigue in equal measure. And for the cream of our Challenge Tour crop, there's been plenty to shout about too, as the road to promotion continues. As it stands, Austria's Lucas Nemes resides in that crucial 20th spot. After a 6th place finish last time out, in Denmark, Christian Krogh Johansen has moved up to 15th. South Africa's Oliver Becker remains in the top 10 on the back of a consistent body of work this season. Our most recent winner on tour is Espen Kofstad of Norway, and he's been propelled up to 4th. Ahead of him, Ewan Ferguson of Scotland leads us into the podium positions. He sits behind Ricardo Gouveia, the Portuguese a 2-time winner already this season, as is Santiago Tarrio, the Spaniard sitting pretty at the top.
Next up on our global tour is the Netherlands, home to tulip fields, windmills, cheese markets, and no shortage of canals. Fortunately for us, they also enjoy a spot of golf around these parts too. Not least in the town of Spijk, home to the Dutch, which serves as backdrop to the impending BNL Challenge Trophy. Designed by Colin Montgomery and opened in 2011, the Dutch offers an imposing test. Stretching to just under 7,000 yards, it's a formidable mix of undulating grassland and dominating water features that ensures our field will have to be at their best this week to come out on top.
It's a concept familiar to the local contingent, their number having contributed greatly to our history here on the Challenge Tour. Among those who have tasted success over the past 30 years are Martin Lefebvre and the always colourful Robert van Dirksen. Breaking through in the mid-2000s came a fresh-faced Joost Luiten, who after 2 Challenge Tour victories would go on to capture 6 further titles on the main European Tour. And now a new crop of talent, Van Driel, Van Meel and Housing, all proudly flying the famous orange colours of their home country. Yet, such is the international nature of our field, it's not been easy. The locals will need to better not just the course this week, but a catalogue of golfers as well from all corners of the globe, here plying their trade with an eye on graduating to the big time.
The Dutch boast some of Europe's best greenkeepers, and the course clearly gets plenty of positive feedback from the pros. With interchangeable conditions throughout the first few days, it was a case of who would hold their nerve in the early part of the tournament. Doing his hopes the world of good was Spain's Alfredo Garcia-Heredia, who's never won a Challenge Tour event. Strong form all season sees him sat inside the top 20 of the Road to Mallorca rankings, and he wasn't letting up here in Holland. A terrific eagle to close out round 3 saw him head into the final round in a tie for 3rd. No longer a stranger to that winning feeling, Denmark's Marcus Hellekilde looks on fire just now. After a recent win in Finland, he was looking to add his 2nd victory of the season and looked solid early on. A delightful chip on the first got him out of trouble on his way to 2nd place heading into the final day.
But it was another previous winner this year who was the man to catch for the final day. Scotland's Craig Howie was heading in the right direction up the leaderboard, signing for a 4 under 67 at the end of the day. Birdie here at the 18th meant he occupied the top spot on his own. So this is how the leaderboard shaped up as we headed towards the finale. 6 players in a tie for 3rd, and only 2 shots off the lead meant it was anyone's game.
Away from the course, we caught up with Australia's Blake Windred. The Newcastle native hasn't returned to his home country all season and has settled into a life on the road. He's been giving us an insight into his upbringing and some of those home comforts he's missing on tour.
Hey, you got dinner on the floor. Gee. I grew up in Newcastle, Australia. Beautiful place, beaches, great coffee. How good's bad? How good? Since I've been travelling, I feel like there's no place like home. I've played golf since I could remember, actually. I've been very lucky that my dad was able to introduce me to the game at a very young age, as soon as I could walk, really. I've only had eyes for professional golf. All through school, you get a few of the teachers while you're sitting at the back of the class. They're kind of questioning you what your backup is. Having taken that leap to Europe and really taken that chance has done wonders for me and really set up a really stable kind of base for my professional career. I would say the golf in Australia can be very similar. The competition obviously is just a little bit, there's a little bit more depth out here just because there's more people, but there's still so many great players back in Australia. One thing I really do miss is just visiting my local coffee shops with a few of the boys. Is definitely something that you can't get over here. People close to me would definitely know I've enjoyed the south of Spain. I feel like I can see a place like that being a little bit of a base for me in Europe in the coming years. I think since leaving Australia, I've actually feel myself becoming a better golfer, a more well-rounded golfer. I really like the path they've taken so far. A few of the Aussies, Scrivener, Minwoo, Lucas Herbert, Herbert now transferring from Europe to America. It's awesome to see the opportunities he's been rewarded with through good golf. So definitely those boys, that's the path I want to take. Wish me luck, boys.
A cut made this week for Windred, and at 30th in the Road to Mallorca rankings, it would seem he's settling into life in Europe nicely. But to the business end then, the players prepared for the final day showdown, and with plenty in the conversation, it was set to be an intriguing affair. Marcus Hellekild showed he wasn't messing about with this birdie on the first. Advantage Hellekild over overnight leader Craig Howie, who would unfortunately fall back, ending with a 1 over 72.
Another man racing out of the blocks was Northern Ireland's Michael Howie. Reading the greens to perfection here, Howie made his intentions clear, getting his day off to a perfect start. Still at the top in the final group was Hellekild, and he backed up his strong opening hole by coming up with a bit of magic here. A glorious shot in and another eagle chance. As conditions began to worsen, time to stand tall. Job done, and he takes the lead all on his own.
Heading into the back nine, the lead would be shared by 4 people, one of them being Garcia-Heredia. At another par 5, the 13th hole, he found some great late form to get up and down for birdie at this demanding hole. With 3 players at -11, Haraldur Magnus would have to birdie an unlikely chance to force his way into the playoff. And the man from Iceland was cool as a cucumber. He sinks the birdie chance, and it's back to the 18th for a 4-man playoff between Magnus, Hellekild, Howie and Garcia-Heredia.
It would prove to be a real grind in the playoff. Howie fell at the first hole, Magnus soon after. 7 holes in, it was between Hellekild and Heredia for the title, with the latter standing over this 15-footer to take home the win. and Alfredo Garcia-Heredia drains it for a brilliant birdie to lift the 2021 BNL Challenge Trophy. So the final standings look like this. It was a day to remember for Gudmundur Kristjansson, who carded an 8 under 63 to push himself well up the final leaderboard. But after a true battle royale, Alfredo triumphed.
That's a long way, but with the trophy, so I will do it every day. I know this moment will come this year. I was playing solid all year, finished up there every time. I had a couple, not the best weekends, but I mean, I played really good. I love the golf course. It was a very good week for me.
Coming up, we head to England and to one of golf's most iconic venues.
With all the Ryder Cups, it's like some magic around here.
And catch up with home favourite Richard Mansell.
I think if you can win on the Challenge Tour, you can win out there. I mean, the strength of the fields on the Challenge Tour are so strong.
Welcome back to the Challenge Tour, and hello from England, a familiar destination that returns to the schedule following a 3-year hiatus. London greeted the arrival of our players before a journey north to England's second city, Birmingham, the backdrop to the British Challenge presented by Modest Golf Management.
The Belfry Hotel and Resort is one of world golf's most iconic venues. And it's no stranger to top-flight competition either. The Ryder Cup itself having been contested here on 4 separate occasions. It first hosted the biennial competition in 1985, when the European team led by Tony Jacklin defeated the American counterparts 16.5 to 11.5. A 14-14 draw occurred in 1989, allowing Europe to retain the trophy, before Team USA triumphed 15-13 in 1993.
The USA getting their first victory at the Belfry.
The most recent contest took place in 2002, when Ireland's Paul McGinley holed the winning putt on the 18th green. In all, it's a venue steeped in history for the players.
It's definitely kind of an old historic clubhouse. Yeah, I mean, look around here, it's kind of an old style putting green. You think there's been all sorts of legends of the game that's been here. So yeah, it's very cool.
It's a pity we can't play the real course, but it's a unbelievable place. I mean, the clubhouse, the venue, with all the Ryder Cups, it's like some magic around here.
Would have been loads of atmosphere around here. It's a small little walk from the putting green, and you'd just be hearing the noise, and just like me there, I was just trying not to trip up. So I don't know what the players do. I just keep walking and come down, and it's a nervous one, I would imagine.
The 43rd Ryder Cup matches will soon be contested in Wisconsin. The event will showcase an array of former Challenge Tour graduates, inspiration indeed for our current crop.
It's a great tour to develop yourself, to mature yourself as a player, and it showed if you keep grinding every week, you're gonna have a good chance of making it on the main tour and onto the Ryder Cup as well.
You know, there are definitely some iconic photos and memories, and I'm sure there's going to be many more.
Many of those moments still echo around the Belfry's Brabazon course, though in fact this week's event will take place on the venue's second layout, the PGA National. Formerly host to 2 European Tour events and recognised by the PGA as a world-class tournament course with fast undulating fairways and greens, severe runoffs and 70 strategically placed deep bunkers. Finland's Harald Magnus and Michael Hoey of Northern Ireland entered the tournament fresh from missing out in a 4-man 7-hole playoff the previous week in the Netherlands. After that playoff experience, time to dust themselves down.
Of course there are nerves in a playoff, but in a 4-man playoff you have to just be super aggressive.
you're not playing for second, third, or fourth. It's all or nothing. So, you know, these shoulda, woulda, coulda thoughts start drooping in. One shot here and there, but overall it was a good week. Finally got my game where I wanted to, and made some good putts to get into the playoff.
Just the last 5 weeks I've had some good results, and particularly last week, so I'm enjoying it, which is the main thing. I wasn't enjoying it for a couple of years now. I'm really enjoying it. It's nice to be playing for something. You know, if you're 58th in the money, which I was, it's hard to have a chance. So now I've got grand final, all the big events, and it's an opportunity. Still have to play great, but at least I've got a sniff. And that's it. I'm really enjoying it. Golf's, even at my age, you know, I'm playing some of my best golf, so I'm just trying to really focus on that.
The season hasn't been exactly how I wanted it to, but everything is coming along nicely now, and I'm just excited about the end of the season.
3 days of fine golf took place in the early part of the tournament. With the course playing fast and firm, there was plenty of opportunity for the players to take advantage of the extra distance available, and scoring was low early on. One of the big Saturday movers was Spain's Javier Sainz. 128th in the rankings, his bogey-free round of 64 took him to 14 under and up to second place on the leaderboard.
Chile's Hugo Leon is 29th in the rankings, and a solid showing this week could take him into the top 20. He birded the 18th for the second day running to shoot a 69, and in contention moving into the final day. But Saturday was all about Oliver Becker, the 36-year-old South African, reaching the turn in a 5 under par 31. He eagled the 10th to move into the lead. Birdie at the last would see him take a 2-shot lead into Sunday.
So Becker and Leon will be joined in the final group by Sainz. While Nathan Kims's 65 included an albatross 2 on the par 5 10th, Italy's Matteo Manassero is also in that group at 10 under par. 24 months ago, Englishman Richard Mansell had just started making a name for himself on the Challenge Tour. After a stellar 2019 in limited events, he'd given himself a solid footing for the beginning of 2020. Little did he know what would be in store.
I think deep down I've always known I'm good enough. I played really well back when I was on the Euro Pro, and then played Challenge Tour as well that year, had some invites and did well there. So I knew I could compete. Yeah, it's been tough. Obviously the bubble situations has not been ideal, but it's kind of had to happen. And this year it has got to me a little bit, to be fair. Yeah, it hasn't been easy, and there's been times where I didn't want to play events kind of thing, which has just never been me. So I knew it was getting to me, so I've had to do it a couple of times, but I've been working hard the last couple of weeks, and I'm really in a much better place again, and I'm enjoying golf again, which is, like I say, that's what I want to do. I love this game. I think if you can win on the Challenge Tour, you can win out there. I mean, the strength of the fields on the Challenge Tour are so strong. It's the little things that people do better, some of the best players in the world and stuff like that. And I think it's just like 1%. That's literally it. And if you can just try and keep getting that little bit better, and when you play with good players, just watch them and learn a little bit and try and take that into your game. That's what I've really tried to do. And I feel a better player now. I still get a lot of people saying well done to me and stuff like that. Played in my first major, which was an amazing experience, and made the cut there, which was great. But yeah, I am quite hard on myself sometimes. I think a lot of athletes are, and with the strength of fields on Challenge Tour, it's not actually that much different.
Having the backing and leadership from his management team at Modest Golf, headed by Niall Horan, Mansell's career was only going to head in one direction.
Just look at obviously what they've done for younger golfers, they've done for the game with the female golfers, disability golfers with Brendan, who's now world #1. I mean, if that doesn't inspire you, then I don't know what does, kind of thing. They're just doing everything right, and they're giving people opportunities and making it fair for everyone. I think it's great for the game.
The final day at the Belfry would turn out to be a dramatic 18 holes of golf over the PGA National Course. Oliver Becker holding a 2-shot lead heading into the final round, while Javier Sainz joins the final group for the first time after a 64 on Saturday. After a great approach left the putt from 10 feet, Hugo Leon wasted no time, reducing Becker's lead to just a shot with a birdie on the first.
With Becker slipping back, Leon found himself at the top of the leaderboard on 19 under par. But a poor tee shot into the trees on 15 proved costly, as he double bogeyed to drop back into a group of players on 17 under. After 4 birdies in a row to start the back 9, Ricardo Gouveia found himself with a 1-shot lead going up 18. But he found water off the tee and had to settle for a 5 and a 17 under par finish.
With 4 players now tied for the lead, it was a question of who would hold their nerve through the final holes. Leon struck his approach to 15 feet on 17 and duly converted the putt to take a 1-shot lead over Becker, Gouveia and Yannick Paul going to the last. Becker birdied 18 on Saturday to close out his 62. He repeated the feat on Sunday as he wrapped up his tournament with a level par round of 72.
Leon had a similar length putt on 18, and he held his nerve to hit the middle of the hole and record his first win on the Challenge Tour. He narrowly missed out on Le Vaudreuil in July. A win here takes him well inside the top 20. So Leon the winner, Becker had to settle for second, with Yannick Paul and Gouveia tied for third. Javier Sainz shot a 70 to finish in his highest Challenge Tour position.
I felt very good out there. I felt very, very good. My putting today was very good. Everything was going right as I kind of envisioned, but you know, golf's got a funny way of testing us. But this is my dream, and this is something that I really wanted to do. I gave it everything I have. So being able to get one this time is just such a rewarding feeling, especially in a place as iconic as here.
So let's see how the rankings are shaping up after event 19. The critical 20th place now rests with Frenchman Felix Maury. Yannick Paul jumps 6 places after a buoyant showing at the Belfry. The newly crowned champ Hugo Leon moves up to 12th. It's tight around the top 10. America's Chase Hanna in a group of players dropping back a place to accommodate South Africa's Oliver Becker, who's climbed 9 spots to 5th. Alfredo Garcia-Heredia is up to 3rd. So close to a 3rd win of the season at the Belfry, Ricardo Gouveia is just ahead. Yet the man still out front is Spain's Santiago Tarrio.
A huge 2 weeks for Garcia-Heredia at the Dutch and Hugo Leon at the iconic Belfry then, as we continue on our road to Mallorca. Next stop for the Challenge Tour will be Germany, returning to our schedule for the first time since 2015, when a certain Ricardo Gouveia took the spoils. From there it's onwards to France and stunning Provence, as the road to Mallorca gets ever closer to its final stop.